Good morning, my star class. Just wanted to walk us through the very first lesson. So make sure you get a pen and a pencil. This is going to be the notes you're going to take and write down, and hopefully follow along. And we're going to pause the video whenever you need to pause it in order to write. So here's the first problem. Go ahead and write it down. And now, basically, when you have a 2-digit by a 3-digit number, you want to put the one with the less amount of digits. So that's this one on the bottom. So I write 238 on the top and the 13 on the bottom. That way, we're only going to have to, whatever the number, how many digits there are on the bottom, that's how many times we're going to have to multiply. So if we put this one on the bottom, we'd have to multiply 3 times. Here, we only have to multiply twice. So remember that when you're multiplying, you are first going to go all the way to the right and multiply by this number. So we do 3 times 8, and I get 24. So I bring down the 4. Notice how I line up the numbers, and I'm going to carry the 2, because you only could write down one number at a time. Still multiplying by this 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and then I'm going to add 2, which is 11. So I can only put down the 1 in the ones digit and carry the other one. Still multiplying by the 3 because we're not done. We still have to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7. Notice how every time, whichever one I'm multiplying, I'm writing the answer right below it. Now, I've used the 3, so I'm going to kind of cross it off to make sure I remember that I've already used it. And I'm going to cross off these guys up here, the carryovers, so I don't get confused by those. Now I'm going to multiply. Since I multiplied by 3, I have to now multiply by the 1. But since I'm multiplying by a new number, that's going to go directly below it. But I need, whenever I'm multiplying by this number, I need my first answer to go right below it. So I need a placeholder. Some people like to use X's. I like to use a 0. But now I'm multiplying by the 1, and my first place open is right below the 1. 1 times 8 is 8. Put right below. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. There's nothing to carry, so I'm done. I've multiplied by all my numbers below, so now it's time to add them. 4. 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 and 3 is 10. I'm going to carry the 1. And 1 plus that 2 is 3. And then I'm going to count over 3 times to put in my comma. And my answer is 3,094. Here's another one. 3-digit by 3-digit. So it doesn't really matter which one we put on the top and which one we put on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put the 254 on the top and the 198 on the bottom. And the reason why I'm going to do that, you didn't have to do it this way, but now I see that on the bottom I have a 1, and it's going to be really easy to multiply by 1. And I would just have to do it 3 times. So first of all, let's go by the 8. Remember, we're going by the number all the way to the right. 8 times 4 is 32, but I can only put down the ones digit, which is a 2. Bring up the 3, so there's the 32. 8 times 5, 40, but then I have to add 3, I get 43. But I can only bring down the ones digit, and I'm going to carry the 4. That's the 43. And then 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. So I could put down the 2, and there's nothing else to multiply there, so I have to bring down the 2 as well. So I'm done multiplying by the 8. I'm going to cross off these guys. Now I have to multiply by the 9. But remember, we need the first digit to go right below it. So I'm going to put a placeholder in, and now I'm ready to multiply by 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Bring down the 6. Carry the 3. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 3 is 48. Going to carry the 4, bring down the 8. And then one more to multiply. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 2 is 22. But there's nothing to carry anymore, so I'm going to have to bring down the whole 22. Notice how my numbers are completely lined up. And now I'm done multiplying by the 9. Last, now I have to multiply by the 1. Let me go ahead and cross off these guys. So, because I want the first digit to be right underneath the 1, I need now 2 placeholders. And 1 times 4. I'm going to go all the way across. 1 times 5. 1 times 2. And there's nothing else to multiply, so now I could add these all together. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Plus 5 is 10. So I could bring down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. And last, I'm just going to go ahead and go over 3 times and 50,292. So now it's your turn in this point to try 2. So you're going to pause the video and try these 2, and then we're going to go ahead and check once you're done. So go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems. So for letter A, I would have put the 15 on the bottom because there's less digits. Did you do that? All right. So now I'm going to multiply by the 5. It's all the way to the right. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40, but I'm going to carry the 4. And 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4 is actually 14. Now we're ready to multiply by the 1 because the 5's done. I'm going to cross that out too, all the carries. Well, because we want the first answer to be right below, I got to do a placeholder. And then, now I'm going to multiply by the 1. 1 times 0 is also 0. But that was the placeholder. That actually equals 0. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up. And then I bring over, I think I'll count 3 times to get 4,200. Over here, you didn't have to do it this way, but I chose to put the 0 on the bottom with the 201. You could have multiplied them the other way. You should get the same answer. So now I'm going to multiply by the 1. 1 times 5, 1 times 9, and 1 times 3. Done with the 1 now. Now I'm going to multiply by the 0. Before I do, I need a placeholder. But when you multiply by 0, this whole line is going to end up being zeros, which is why I love to put the 0 at the bottom. Now I'm going to multiply by 2. 2 times 5. Oh, but wait, we need the first answer to go right here, right below the 2. So I'm going to have 2 placeholders. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1, put the 0 down. 2 times 9 is 18, plus that 1 is 19. Carry the 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Going to add everything up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus all those zeros is 9. 3 plus all those zeros is 3. 0 plus 9 is 9, and 7, and I'm going to count over 3 times, and 79,395.